Although the players in Boys Over Flowers gave the impression of having wonderful lives, the reality was startling. Due to allegations of abuse, one celebrity lost $13 million in legal cases. One was attending one of Korea's most difficult colleges and sleeping in parking lots. During her pregnancy, a cast member's husband was threatened with millions of dollars. After a family catastrophe, one star was completely absent for 5 years. We'll learn today what transpired with each cast member following the conclusion of the program. Lee Min-ho. In 2006, Lee Min-ho was only beginning his career. He wasn't a star, though. He was traveling with his companions as a young actor. They were eager to explore what lay ahead on the route. However, everything changed after a single automobile ride. While traveling to Gangwon province, the vehicle crashed. Immediately, 2 persons in the front seats passed away. Lee Min-ho and Jung Il-woo were in the rear and narrowly survived. For a month, Lee was unable to think. When he woke up, his body was broken. His ankle was fractured in multiple places, as were his thigh and ribs. He had a sore knee. One of his legs is now always shorter than the other after a 46 cm metal pin was inserted into his hip. For a year, he was in constant discomfort and was unable to move, act, or even stand. At that very moment, his dream of fame nearly came to an end. Therefore, it was quite odd to watch him recover from the accident. When he eventually landed the role of Gu Junpyo in Boys Over Flowers, no one could tell how much suffering he had endured. Lee Min-ho became the face of an entire generation as a result of the role's fame. Although they were successful, the threat remained. In 2011, he was involved in another vehicle accident while filming City Hunter. The shock of the incident exacerbated his pre-existing ailments, and it would recur later in life. When it came time for him to serve in the military, his injury prevented him from becoming an active duty combatant. From May 2017 to April 2019, he served as a public servant at the Socio-Social Welfare Center. Most people understood the anguish he was still in from years earlier, but some didn't comprehend why he joined the army. Then there was something nobody anticipated. In 2022, he made his Hollywood debut with the film Pachinko. It made me feel a lot and was courageous and intense. His performance not only astounded reviewers but also delighted his devoted followers. The New York Times, Rolling Stone, and Collider all ranked his show as one of the top TV shows of that year. It was no longer solely about their appearance or charisma. It demonstrated the kind of cast member he had developed into. Even when she succeeds, Lee Min-ho has discussed how difficult it is to be at the center. He claimed that he was under a lot of stress after 12 years at the top. He believed that everything may be ruined by one misstep. In recent remarks, he acknowledged that he does feel as though he could fall at any moment. In July 2025, he revealed something even more confidential to them. He claimed to have cried for days when his dog passed away. He now genuinely wants to get married before turning 40 after seeing how isolating stardom can be. His business side is stronger than ever, regardless of how he feels behind the scenes. He works with 11 well-known brands and 27 various product types. He is employed by numerous companies, including Cuckoo, Fendi, and Hugo Boss. In Asia, his visage is trusted by millions of people. He is one of the most sought-after celebrities for sponsorships as a result. He is preparing for another major event. The production of his latest film, Omniscient Reader, cost 30 billion naira. It's his first film in nearly a decade. He claims that things are different this time. A film receives feedback only once, whereas a drama receives comments weekly. He claimed that it weighs heavily on him because others will so obviously evaluate his work. However, armed with all the knowledge he has gained and a heart that continues to heal, he is returning to that world. Once the naive young woman that everyone watched on Korean television, Koo Hae-sun was more than simply a fictional character, she was a symbol of optimism. Her actual life, however, differed from the narrative. The fairy tale started to unravel in 2019 after her marriage to Ahn Jae-hyun collapsed in the public eye. They appeared to be the ideal match when they first met. They even donated their wedding's proceeds to a worthy cause. However, private texts then leaked. They displayed a tense, angry, and emotionally broken relationship. He didn't give a damn about her sentiments, she added. He claimed she filmed him asleep after lying to sneak into his room. When On revealed that he was taking medication for depression and experiencing financial difficulties, things became worse. He took out loans and sold his house to pay for her. In 2020, they eventually got divorced, which stunned their friends and pained them both. But Koo didn't disappear. Instead, she took an unexpected action. She returned to school to improve, not to pass the time. Despite having previously dropped out, she returned to Sungkyunkwan University and put in much more effort. She received a 4.0 GPA upon graduation in February 2024. 27 out of 4 points. 5, that's 97.7%. Most folks would stop there. She didn't. At fewer than 15%, KAIST has one of the lowest acceptance rates in South Korea, and she was accepted. When she received her master's degree in science journalism from that university, even her adversaries were taken aback. But her journey had a price. She then claimed that because she lacked a permanent residence, she had been sleeping in parking spaces in her vehicle. She was once viewed as a pampered TV personality, but now she was a student living in her car and attempting to learn in a society that had abandoned her. It wasn't the end, though. She received a patent in 2021 for her flat-folding hair roller, the Goo Roll. It was an actual concept, not merely a ploy. She had converted it into a business by mid-2025. To realize her idea, she was collaborating with a chemistry professor from KST. She had sobbed on Instagram years ago. She established a company and obtained official government patents and a business certificate. It was a transformation that nobody could have predicted. Kim Hyun-jung, central to one of Korea's most severe celebrity scandals was Kim Hyun-jung, who portrayed the bashful prince. When his ex-girlfriend said he had severely attacked her in 2014, it all started. She claimed that it took her 6 weeks to recover from the severe pain he caused her. He settled for about $7,000 and admitted to 1 felony. However, when she claimed to be pregnant and then held him responsible for the loss, things became worse. Later on, she retracted that, but the harm was already done. In 2015, Kim filed a defamation lawsuit. She gave birth to a child in September during that period. Kim was the father, according to a test. Layers of emotional turmoil and contradictory allegations were revealed after court. In 2017, Kim prevailed in the case. The court order required her to give him 100 million naira. Additionally, a jail sentence for violence was postponed. However, the victory came at a price. Over $13 million was lost by Kim throughout those years. He stopped doing business with brands. No concerts were held. He was dropped by the Miss Shaw, the L, and the Toyota. Because they didn't trust him, his office severed their relationship with him. He served in the military from 2015 to 2017 and made an effort to avoid publicity. Even nevertheless, rumors about him continued to circulate. When he returned, he had further issues. His former spouse demanded monthly payments and exclusive custody of their son. Everyone was stunned when Kim married someone else in 2018 in the midst of all of this. He had always had her support. In 3 years, he had 2 children with 2 separate women. The press media thoroughly enjoyed themselves. It didn't help that he started playing music again. Previously selling tens of thousands of copies, albums now only sell roughly 30,000 copies. Venues became smaller. Each show used to cost 500,000 naira, but now it just costs 50,000. Even though he still owed money for child support and court costs, he was spotted dining out in style in 2021. In 2022, he relocated to a smaller apartment valued at 500 million naira. Compared to his previous penthouse, this was a significant step down. In 2023, he reunited with other members of SS501 in the hopes of making a comeback and forming 501. However, the response they received was not what they were hoping for. Few tickets were sold. They performed in fan clubs and tiny halls rather than large arenas. When Kim Bum played the endearing Potter in Boys Throughout Flowers, people all throughout Asia fell in love with him. However, the true meaning of the smile was never revealed to fans. Even in his early 20s, Kim Bum had a serious health issue. He suffered from rheumatoid arthritis, a condition that worsens with time and is inherited. For years, he managed it in private by exercising and taking medication. However, the truth was revealed in 2018 when it was time to enlist in the military. His military service differed from that of other artists. He was instead assigned to public service due to his circumstances. He had been receiving treatment continuously since he was in his early 20s, according to his agency. That information startled his buddies. Nobody knew that the active and dazzling star was engaged in a silent but agonizing war. Following Boys Over Flowers, Kim Bum's romantic life was frequently discussed in the media. He made headlines in October 2013 when he and actress Moon Gun-young, who collaborated on Goddess of Fire, went public. When the connection was made public in November 2013, fans were ecstatic. However, just 7 months later, in May 2014, they had broken up. The fans were quite depressed. Kim Bum then admitted to dating someone else in March 2018, a few weeks before he enlisted in the military. Again, this time starring Oh Yeon-seo. Prior to his 2-year hiatus from the spotlight, it felt like the conclusion of a love story. However, basic training also ended abruptly, so he didn't even complete it. 2 well-known romances terminated abruptly, leaving fans to wonder what was truly happening behind the scenes. Kim Bum performed something courageous during this entire situation that nobody anticipated. On June 20, 2012, his solo album Hometown was released, marking his musical debut. He actually performed live in Japan at the stellar ball held in Tokyo's Shinagawa Prince Hotel. It was more than just a good time. He meant it. Supporters could see that this was a genuine dream rather than merely a side project. After then, there was the global wave. He played a significant role in the 2013 film Young Detective D, Rise of the Sea Dragon, directed by Sui Hark. It thus rose to become one of the year's biggest hits in China. Kim Bum quickly rose to fame throughout Asia, not only in Korea. His subsequent films and television series, including Lovers and Movies, The Beloved, and V Love, were produced in China. He had unexpectedly and quietly become a world-renowned performer. His silence regarding love has been the most startling aspect of him today. Kim Bum is 36 years old in 2025 and has never been in a relationship. He probably hasn't been with anybody else since he split from Oh Yeon-seo in 2018. Despite being one of the most gorgeous unmarried men in Korea, he made no mention of dating or marriage. Fans frequently search the internet, and phrases like, Kim Bum wife, keep up. However, there is never a satisfactory explanation, no public sightings, and no enduring stories. The only sound is quiet. What's even more intriguing is the mystery. Since leaving the military, Kim Bum has not slowed down at all. He excelled once more on the big screen in Ghost Doctor, 2022, Law School, 2021, and Tale of the Nine-Tailed, 2020. Each endeavor revealed a different aspect of him, so he wasn't just a lovely face from a vintage soap opera. He had a lot of potential. He managed to hang on. He will now appear in the 2026 SBS drama Sold Out Again Today as Executive Director Seo Eric. Kim Jun, he rose to international fame as Song Woo-bin in Boys Over Flowers. Even his closest friends were unaware of the significant truth he was concealing behind his notoriety. Although Kim Jun's character won over many hearts, he was secretly seeing a person he had known since middle school. He had been dating T-Max for 9 years until he appeared with him in 2007. Nobody was aware of what was happening, though. Then, in June 2018, he made a shocking statement. He was informed by his spouse that they had been wed since 2015. His wife was neither a new lover nor a famous person. Throughout it all, he had been seeing the same woman. Despite being extremely well known at the time, he was able to conceal their relationship, wedding, and even their family life. But that wasn't all. He added that the same year, he became a parent. For years, he had kept this a secret from the media, public gatherings, and interviews. This indicated that he had been a father for a considerable amount of time before anyone even believed he was married. Kim Jong-un accomplished something that hardly any other celebrity could in a field where everything is made public. He created a private life away from the spotlight. His career also took a significant turn in September 2011, when he was compelled to enlist in the military. He was freed in June 2013 after being compelled to serve as a police officer. T-Max's hectic years came to an end with that respite from the spotlight. After that, he focused on smaller, quieter ventures and stopped taking on large roles. Kim So-eun. Acting was never Kim So-eun's goal. She was nearly ready to join the Korean national team after learning how to be a professional skier. However, when Pyeongchang hosted junior ski competitions in 2003, everything changed. Later on, the Winter Olympics would be held in this same city. She caught the eye of a celebrity agency, who wanted to hire her. After that one-chance encounter in the snow, she took a completely different turn. She left her ideal position in sports to pursue a career as an actor. Even after becoming well-known because to Boys Over Flowers, her journey wasn't simple. She went through several company changes. In 2016, she got a contract with Will Entertainment. She visited Ascendio Reserve in 2021. However, by 2024, fans noticed that her page was no longer available on Ascendio's website. No explanations or declarations were made. She had quietly resigned. She works independently today. In Korean culture, where a career can be abruptly ended by lack of an agency, that is an uncommon and dangerous approach. Her personal life has also been discussed. In 2014, she was paired with singer Song Jae-rim on the reality show We Got Married. They got along so well on TV that they won Best Couple at the MBC Entertainment Awards. However, the length of time that the rumors of a connection persisted astounded everyone. People were still unsure in June 2023 if they were actually together or if it was merely a long-running tale, even though the show had been on for nearly 10 years. They'd been connected for much longer than anyone anticipated. In addition, Kim So-eun has revealed a side of herself that many of her admirers are unaware of. She has served as a cultural ambassador at festivals such as the Jeonju International Film Festival and the Korea International Youth Film Festival. When she worked with the Green Film Festival in 2014, she gained notoriety for her advocacy of environmental causes. Although many believed her profession was simply about being the good girl next door, that aspect of her life, being quiet, contemplative, and gregarious, has given it greater complexity. One of the most incredible tales in Korean entertainment is that of Park Ji-bin. In 2009, at the age of 14, he won hearts as Jandi's younger brother in Boys Over Flowers. He was viewed by fans as the kind, entertaining boy next door. By the time we see him again in 2025, he has changed significantly. Now that he is 30, he is more than just the younger brother. His transformation into a major man has been so significant that his followers now refer to him as Appa rather than Ah. But this glow-up was the result of actual anguish. In June 2014, his father unexpectedly passed away. It was very painful for him. He had planned to enlist in the military that year, but the tragedy caused him to reconsider. After over a year of delaying, he eventually enlisted on May 26, 2015. His employment ended on February 25, 2017, after 21 months of service. Since other performers his age were simultaneously landing adult roles, this was supposed to be his big break. However, Park Ji-bin failed to appear. Nor was it limited to the military. He didn't appear in any TV shows or films between 2013 and 2018. Not a single variety show, drama, or guest star. There was silence. As his buddies gained popularity, many started to question whether he had actually ceased performing. However, at that moment, something changed. When he eventually returned in 2018, fans hardly recognized him. The gentle-faced youngster had matured into a man with distinct characteristics. His return was more than just a change in appearance. He completely changed our vibe. He began to play dark, intense parts instead of nice, innocent ones. In 2024, he portrayed a villain named Zhang Min in Disney Plus's A Shop for Killers. His performance astounded everyone. Even the way he played the villain was praised by one individual. They were aware that this was not the Park Ji-bin they were familiar with. Now he's going farther. After a 6-year hiatus, he returns to the film industry with My Name, a historical thriller set in the Jeju period. 3. The 1948 Incident. He plays Kyung-tae, a wealthy and intimidating incoming student from Seoul. He is so skilled at fighting that everyone at school is terrified of him. The conclusion of filming on April 3, 2025, is already being discussed as a significant day in his career. Lee Min-young. The life of Lee Min-young was not merely a television drama. It became something no play could portray in its entirety. Her career got off in 2009 when she portrayed Ha Jae-kyung in Boys Over Flowers. She earned Best New Actress at the Korean Association of Film Critics Awards that year for her role in White Knight. However, things changed with the release of Cyrano Agency in 2010. She gained international fame as a result of the romantic comedy. She received further awards. She was everywhere. Advertisers really liked her. She was even referred to as a goddess by some. However, they broke up right when she was living a happy life. In August 2013, she married Lee Byung-hun. A catastrophe that rocked the whole business sector occurred the following year, in 2014. Model Lee Ji-yeon and K-pop artist Kim Dae-hee secretly recorded Lee Byung-hun. They attempted to compel him to pay over 5 billion naira, or $3.7 million. The fact that Lee Min-young was pregnant at the time made it more worse. Being betrayed was really painful. She left her parents' home and moved in with them. The media was cruel. She stayed, even though many people believed they were going to split. Lee Min-young decided against leaving. Because of that decision, everything changed. On March 31, 2015, their son, Lee Jun-hoo, was born. Years passed. Slowly, their lives started to stabilize once more. 8 years after the birth of their son, they welcomed a daughter in December 2023. We learned a lot from that space. There were other factors besides time. They were rebuilding it. Rebuilding trust takes time. However, they managed to overcome it. And then there was the unexpected return. After the conclusion of her drama once again in 2020, Lee Min-young was last seen on television. For 5 years, she paused. Then, in a way that stunned everyone, she returned in March 2025. She had never been on YouTube before. She made a joke about how Mensa member Kim Jae-wook showed her how to finally ask for likes, shares, and subscriptions. But she didn't stop there. On May 2025, she performed on her debut variety show. They called it Heart on Wheels. Her name was on the program, so it wasn't just any program. She travels to small rural communities in a moving company during the episode. Similar to how he hosted Our Blues, she had her husband, Lee Byung-hun, host the show.